Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey guys, and welcome to Film Artsy, your #1 source for all things films and movies. My name is Elijah, and over the years we've seen some amazing stunts coming out of some of the scenes from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And interestingly enough, some of the female actors who play various roles in the MCU are actually known for doing their own stunts, which has led to some really awesome scenes that we got to see throughout all of the years of the movies. So today we thought it'd be really interesting to take a look back at some of the coolest stunts that the actresses of the Marvel Cinematic Universe did on their own. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. First up, there's a ton of anticipation for Black Widow coming out, as this is going to be a really big deal in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and be a really cool exploration of this character with what we're hoping to be some really awesome action sequences as well. And Scarlett Johansson is known for being very involved in a lot of the stunts that are done for the movies. We can go back all the way to Captain America Winter Soldier and see some of the stunts she did along the way to give us an idea as to what type of involvement Scarlett Johansson has in these movies.
Alright, here we go. And background cars go. And 3, 2, 1, go!
We've even seen stuff later on in the same movie where Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow did a lot of stuff involving a wire holding her up and doing a lot of different things.
And action!
But a lot of these stunts actually date all the way back to when she first debuted as the character in the Iron Man 2 days. And in interviews, she's even gone on record saying that that was kind of the first time she had to do these types of stunts and learn the choreography along the way. And there's a lot of really cool things you can see when you look back at Iron Man 2.
I've seen the tests that she's been doing, jumping off the cranes and doing the wire work and learning the combat. She looks pretty steady. And she's pretty brave and pretty committed, so that's good. It's the first time I'm seeing her as somebody who could be a, somebody who could be the star of a comic book movie.
Now, interestingly enough, moving forward into the Avengers, we really get to see a version of the Black Widow that is a little bit more involved in the story and in fighting in general, and it seems like they used a lot of the same team from Iron Man 2 and were able to work cohesively enough to make some stunts that were really, really awesome to see. And as more and more films have come out that have starred these characters and the team behind Marvel who plan out these action sequences, we've really gotten to see some awesome things along the way. Like looking forward into Captain America Civil War, we see even more close-up action scenes from Scarlett Johansson as the Black Widow.
Action!
And if we even look further ahead, while we don't get as many behind the scenes sequences, we can tell just by looking at some of the scenes that Scarlett Johansson was involved in some of the fight scenes found in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Now, of course, that's not downplaying the fact that there are stunt doubles involved and they help out, but it is really cool to see how these actresses are able and capable of doing a lot of these scenes on their own and being much more involved, especially as movies progress and their involvement becomes even more. But before we get into this next clip, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel because we're uploading a ton of content just like this and you're not going to want to miss what we upload next. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Going all the way back to Avengers Age of Ultron, we can see Elizabeth Olsen behind the scenes doing some of her character stuff, and while back then it didn't seem like she had as many stunts and wasn't necessarily as involved, we still get to see her kind of in the thick of a lot of the practical effects that were used in these movies, and it's interesting to see nonetheless. However, as more films have come out, we see Elizabeth Olsen even doing work on a wire for Avengers Infinity War, which was pretty important for the result of that movie in its own right. But of course, if we want to flip the book a little bit, we can even look at Brie Larson, who plays Captain Marvel. And if you guys remember, there was actually a really controversial moment in her interview for Avengers Endgame back in the day when she was talking specifically about her doing stunts, and this led to a lot of indecisiveness across the community and a huge split where a lot of people had various opinions on to how they felt about Brie Larson.
I do all my stunts.
I did my stunts because I thought that that's what everyone did. And then
Tom Cruise, I mean?
no, I'll be the first me, not the next Tom Cruise. Thank you very much.
Wow, you know, I mean, he does his own stunts, you know.
But when we look behind the scenes, we do in fact see the fact that Brie Larson is very involved in a lot of the action sequences and stunts that are done for her movie. We can see this early footage of Brie Larson doing some of the fight scenes from the train sequence. And we even see her doing some fights in one of the ships in outer space, along with her even flying in a jet just to get an idea of the character. And if you go all the way back, you can even remember the early footage of Brie Larson that was leaked showing her on ropes, which was later used in one of the flashback sequences in the movie. But even then, it's still not that uncommon where these actresses are casted to play these types of roles and get more involved in some of the stunts. We can even look to Iron Man 3 as an example and see some of the stuff that Gwyneth Paltrow did wearing the Iron Man suit when the mansion was being destroyed. It's the little stuff like this that's really interesting. Moving forward, we can look at the first Ant-Man movie as another example, with Evangeline Lilly talking about her fighting sequence with Paul Rudd in an interview. And even though she was unsure whether or not the version of her or the version of her stunt double was the one that made it into the final cut, we do in fact find out that these actresses have to do some of these fight sequences, and then of course they're doubled again by their stunt double, and somewhere in the editing room they decide which version makes it into the film. But it seems like there was even some involvement in Evangeline Lilly having to do the iconic scene from the first Ant-Man movie where she pins down Paul Rudd's character. Shifting gears, we can see a lot of this again in Thor Ragnarok, with Valkyrie doing a lot of the fighting stuff, with Tessa Thompson having to train for her fighting sequences, and we even have footage of Tessa Thompson doing a lot of the stuff with her character on a wire. But we also can't forget that there's many characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe who've done some amazing things with stunts. We can see Zoe Saldana as Gamora doing some amazing things out of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And while there's plenty of more awesome scenes that we've seen these characters participate in, we also do have to acknowledge the fact that there are some amazing stunt people also involved in not only planning these stunts out, but the people who do step in and do these scenes as the double where the main actors and actresses can't step in. Interestingly enough, there's one stunt woman who is involved in many of the characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and has stood in for them, and that's really cool too. Here's a clip of that.
Rule number 1, never take your eye off your opponent.
Oh my God!
I first met Heidi about 10 years ago. We were shooting Iron Man 2, and I had a very short period of time to train in, being as I'd never stepped foot in a gym, and I had no experience at all with any sort of martial arts or anything like that.
But anyways, guys, what do you think of these actresses being able to do all of these stunts? Let us know what you're thinking in the comments down below. Also, if you're not already following us on Instagram, check it out, link in the description. Here's a clip of what we've been putting out on Instagram. It's definitely stuff up your alley if you like this Marvel stuff, so make sure you guys are checking it out. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for more videos like this, and we'll see you all next time with a brand new video. Bye, guys.
I'm about to.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
See you guys.
Know anybody?